Procrastination. It's something we all struggle with at some point. Whether it's delaying a work project, putting off a conversation, or avoiding a task we know we should complete, procrastination can feel like an insurmountable barrier in our lives. It steals our time, lowers our productivity, and often leads to feelings of guilt and anxiety. But what if procrastination wasn't just an obstacle? What if it could actually become a tool for growth? This is where Stoicism enters the picture. Ancient Stoic principles offer a powerful antidote to procrastination, showing us how to transform delay into a lesson. When applied properly, Stoic philosophy can help us turn our most frustrating habits into opportunities for personal development and self-mastery. Procrastination is more than simply a habit of putting things off. It's a deeply ingrained psychological pattern that often stems from a mix of fear, anxiety, and avoidance. We delay tasks not because we're lazy, but because we're emotionally overwhelmed by them. The looming pressure of an unfinished task triggers our brains to seek comfort, which often leads us down a path of avoidance. Fear of failure, perfectionism, and the overwhelming magnitude of the task at hand can all contribute to this cycle. It's not just about avoiding hard work. It's about avoiding the discomfort of confronting our fears, insecurities, and doubts. Procrastination, at its core, is about avoiding negative emotions. We seek immediate relief from the discomfort that the task brings. And yet, this avoidance only feeds into a greater sense of guilt and anxiety in the long run. It's a vicious cycle, one that seems almost impossible to break. However, by understanding the psychological roots of procrastination, we can begin to address the deeper emotional issues at play and break free from the pattern. Enter Stoicism, a philosophy that has been helping people manage life's struggles for thousands of years. At the heart of Stoic thought is the idea of focusing on what's within our control and accepting what lies beyond it. This mindset is precisely what we need when facing procrastination. The Stoics believe that we're not always in control of our external circumstances, but we always have control over how we respond. Tasks may be difficult, but our response to them, our ability to act with reason and virtue, is entirely within our power. Key Stoic figures like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca emphasize the importance of mastering our emotions, finding peace in the present moment, and using reason to navigate life's obstacles. Procrastination, then, becomes a test of our ability to control our impulses and act in accordance with our values. By applying Stoic principles, we can push through the mental barriers of fear and avoidance, transforming procrastination into a means of growth. The Stoic approach is not just about getting things done, it's about developing the mental resilience and discipline to approach life with purpose and clarity. One of the most powerful Stoic tools for overcoming procrastination is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves intentionally visualizing the worst-case scenarios that could arise from a task we're avoiding. While this might sound counterproductive, the Stoics believe that imagining potential difficulties beforehand helps reduce the anxiety and fear associated with taking action. By confronting the worst in our minds, we take away its power over us. For instance, imagine you're dreading a difficult conversation with a colleague. Through premeditatio malorum, you mentally rehearse the scenario, the potential awkwardness, the uncomfortable emotions, even the possibility of conflict. In doing so, you strip away the fear of the unknown. Once you've anticipated and mentally prepared for the challenge, the task itself becomes less intimidating. It's no longer an abstract source of anxiety, but something you can approach with calm and clarity. This Stoic practice is a direct antidote to the paralysis caused by procrastination. When we anticipate challenges, we stop letting fear dictate our actions. Instead of delaying a task to avoid the discomfort, we begin to approach it with more confidence, knowing that we have already mentally prepared for whatever obstacles may arise. By facing the worst in our minds, we break the cycle of avoidance and empower ourselves to take action. A core tenet of Stoicism is the emphasis on living fully in the present moment. Procrastination, however, often pulls us away from the now. When we put off a task, we find ourselves consumed by thoughts of the future, about deadlines, consequences, or how difficult the work might be. This creates a mental divide between what's happening now and what we fear may happen later. We may become overwhelmed by stress, not because the task is too big, but because we've let the future weigh too heavily on our minds. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the present and embrace our current duties without attachment to the outcomes. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoics, frequently reminded himself that what matters is not what happens to us, but how we respond. Procrastination feeds on our worries about what might come, and by focusing on the present task at hand, we minimize those fears. We acknowledge that the only thing within our control is the action we take right now. By living in the present, we free ourselves from the stress of hypothetical future scenarios and direct our energy towards the task at hand. Embracing the present moment allows us to break through the mental fog of procrastination and begin moving forward, no matter how small the step may seem. Procrastination often occurs when we let our emotions dictate our decisions. The desire to avoid discomfort, failure, or fear can cloud our judgment, leading us to delay important tasks. This is where Stoicism offers a critical insight. It teaches us to align our actions with reason rather than emotions. The Stoics believe that using rational judgment, guided by virtue, is essential to living a meaningful and effective life. When we procrastinate, we're often ignoring our rational minds. Instead of making decisions based on thoughtful reflection, we act impulsively, either by avoiding the task or succumbing to distractions. This emotional response not only undermines our progress, but also creates more mental turmoil. By contrast, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of using reason to guide our actions. When faced with a difficult task, we must evaluate it logically, assessing its importance, breaking it into manageable steps, and determining the best course of action. When we align our actions with rational thought, we reduce the influence of negative emotions like fear and anxiety. Rather than succumbing to the pull of procrastination, we make deliberate choices that lead to progress. The Stoic belief in using reason as a guide can transform procrastination from a barrier into a stepping stone, helping us stay focused and move forward with clarity and purpose. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that we must focus only on what is within our control and let go of what lies beyond it. This simple yet powerful idea is essential when it comes to overcoming procrastination. Often, procrastination is fueled by our tendency to worry about things we can't control, like the outcome of a task, the opinions of others, or future consequences. These concerns can overwhelm us, paralyzing us into inaction. The Stoic approach asks us to recognize that the only thing truly within our control is our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes. When faced with a daunting task, instead of focusing on uncertainties or possible failures, we should direct our energy toward the immediate steps we can take. By doing so, we reduce the mental burden and create space for purposeful action. Focusing on what we can control allows us to regain clarity and motivation. We no longer waste time worrying about the future. We simply take the next logical step in front of us. This mindset helps break the cycle of procrastination, as it empowers us to act based on what we have the power to influence, instead of getting bogged down by things outside our reach. Discipline is a cornerstone of Stoic virtue. The Stoics believed that through disciplined practice, we could build strength, resilience, and the ability to live in accordance with reason. Procrastination, however, erodes discipline. When we delay tasks or avoid difficult actions, we reinforce a habit of inconsistency and indulgence in distractions. Over time, this weakens our self-control making it harder to take action when necessary. The practice of discipline is built on small, consistent actions, doing what must be done even when we don't feel like it. The Stoics knew that true strength comes not from avoiding discomfort, but from willingly enduring it. By cultivating discipline through regular, thoughtful action, we can build momentum. Each task we complete, no matter how small, strengthens our ability to resist the temptation of procrastination. A key Stoic principle is that progress comes through incremental effort. When we start with small tasks and consistently show up, we build the habits that allow us to tackle bigger challenges without hesitation. In this way, discipline becomes the antidote to procrastination. It doesn't require grand leaps, but steady, focused action day after day. Courage, one of the Stoic virtues, plays a pivotal role in overcoming procrastination. The Stoics taught that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in the face of fear. Procrastination often arises from the fear of failure, the discomfort of a challenging task, or the uncertainty of what might happen if we take action. In these moments, our instinct is to avoid the task entirely, to escape the discomfort. But the Stoic practice is to embrace discomfort, not avoid it. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca both spoke of the importance of confronting fear directly, recognizing that by doing so, we grow stronger. By taking action despite our fears, we build courage and resilience. Every time we face a difficult task, we have the opportunity to strengthen our inner resolve. Embracing discomfort can be a powerful tool in overcoming procrastination. The Stoic practice teaches us that progress is born from action, even when it feels uncomfortable or intimidating. When we make a habit of doing what we fear, we discover that our initial anxieties were often exaggerated. By continually pushing through fear, we develop the courage needed to face challenges head-on, breaking free from the cycle of procrastination and moving toward growth and achievement. One of the core Stoic beliefs is the importance of making consistent, incremental progress. The Stoics knew that grand, overwhelming tasks could cause anxiety and discourage action. Instead of attempting to tackle everything at once, Stoicism advocates for breaking down tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. This approach not only reduces the emotional weight of a daunting task, but also creates a clear path forward, increasing motivation and focus. When faced with a project that feels too large, instead of avoiding it, break it into smaller, achievable components. For example, writing a long essay can be divided into steps like researching a topic, outlining, drafting one section at a time, and then revising. Each small accomplishment gives you a sense of progress, which builds momentum. By focusing on one step at a time, procrastination loses its grip. This method of steady, purposeful action promotes progress and enables us to avoid the paralyzing feeling of being overwhelmed. By breaking tasks down and approaching them methodically, we practice Stoic resilience. The key is not perfection, but continual action, no matter how small. A powerful tool in Stoicism is the creation of a routine. Stoic philosophers emphasized that by establishing regular habits, we could reduce decision fatigue, conserve energy, and focus more on what truly matters. Routines make actions automatic, allowing us to tackle daily tasks with less mental effort and resistance. This kind of structure is especially helpful in overcoming procrastination. When we don't have a routine, every task becomes a decision, a point at which we might hesitate or avoid action. However, a Stoic routine provides clarity, setting aside time for work, self-care, reflection, and even leisure. This consistency helps us stay productive without wasting energy on deciding what to do next. By incorporating small daily practices, such as morning reflections or dedicated work blocks, we strengthen discipline and create a sense of order. A daily routine also helps us avoid procrastination by framing each day with purposeful action. Knowing that we've carved out time for what needs to be done, reduces the emotional resistance to starting. With a routine, tasks become habitual, making it easier to take action and improve overall productivity. Self-reflection is a critical aspect of Stoicism and serves as a powerful tool for overcoming procrastination. Regularly reflecting on our thoughts, actions, and progress allows us to understand the reasons behind our procrastination and adjust our approach. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoics, made journaling a daily habit, using it to reflect on his actions, evaluate his emotions, and align his behaviours with his Stoic principles. By setting aside time each day to reflect, we can identify patterns in our procrastination and begin to address the underlying causes, whether they be fear, perfectionism, or avoidance. Reflection allows us to check in with our values and remind ourselves of what is truly important. When we engage in regular reflection, we build greater self-awareness and strengthen our resolve. It realigns us with our purpose and encourages us to take action, ensuring we stay on track with our goals. Journaling, or simply taking a few minutes to meditate on our daily behaviour, provides clarity and motivation, helping us move beyond procrastination and toward consistent progress. Negative visualization, a key Stoic practice, involves mentally preparing for potential obstacles or challenges. This technique helps us anticipate the difficulties we may face, shifting our focus away from fear of the unknown and towards pragmatic solutions. When we visualize the possible consequences of procrastination, like missed deadlines, feelings of guilt, or lost opportunities, we prepare ourselves mentally to avoid these outcomes. Instead of fearing the worst, negative visualization allows us to confront these possible obstacles in advance. For instance, if you're putting off a project, visualize the discomfort and stress that will come from procrastination, as well as the satisfaction of completing the task. By imagining these outcomes, we reduce the fear that paralyzes us and shift our focus toward purposeful action. This practice helps motivate us by emphasizing the consequences of inaction while reinforcing the positive outcomes of taking decisive steps. Negative visualization shifts our mindset from a place of fear to one of purpose, helping us face challenges head-on and push through procrastination with clarity and resolve. One of the most powerful Stoic virtues is resilience, the ability to endure setbacks and challenges without losing our composure or purpose. For the Stoics, adversity is not something to fear, but an opportunity to grow stronger. Setbacks and failures are an inevitable part of life, but how we respond to them defines our character. Rather than seeing failure as an endpoint, the Stoics view it as a stepping stone on the path to wisdom and self-improvement. Procrastination often stems from a fear of failure. We avoid starting a task because we worry it won't be perfect or that we might not succeed. This fear can be paralyzing, keeping us stuck in a cycle of delay. But Stoicism teaches us that failure is not something to avoid, but something to embrace as a part of our journey. Each time we face a challenge, we have the opportunity to learn, adjust, and build resilience. Resilience helps us face difficult situations head-on, knowing that every setback is a lesson in itself. It encourages us to keep moving forward, not despite the difficulties, but because of them. By embracing resilience, we overcome procrastination and build the mental fortitude necessary to turn challenges into stepping stones for growth. The Stoics repeatedly emphasize the importance of living in the present moment. Procrastination, however, pulls us away from the present, causing us to become consumed by thoughts of the past or the future. When we procrastinate, we often worry about the potential outcomes of our actions, whether we'll succeed or fail, or how much we have left to do. These thoughts create unnecessary stress and distract us from the task at hand. Stoicism teaches that the only moment that truly exists is now. When we focus on the present, we free ourselves from the mental burden of hypothetical future scenarios or past regrets. Each action we take, no matter how small, moves us closer to our goals. By acting in the present, we gain momentum and reduce the anxiety that procrastination feeds on. We stop waiting for the perfect time or for the right circumstances and begin working with what we have, where we are, right now. By embracing the power of the present moment, we transform procrastination into deliberate action. Stoic principles teach us that progress is made through consistent, focused action in the now, no matter how small the steps may seem. In overcoming procrastination, the Stoic approach is a powerful guide. By using reason, discipline, courage, and resilience, we can break free from the cycle of delay and begin living more intentionally. Each small action, when approached with focus and purpose, leads us closer to our goals and a life of meaning. Stoicism encourages us to take responsibility for our actions and adopt a mindset that embraces challenges and setbacks as opportunities for growth. The key is not waiting for the perfect moment, but taking deliberate steps one at a time. Start applying Stoic principles in your daily life, and you'll find that procrastination becomes less of an obstacle and more of an opportunity to grow. Each small step you take is progress on your journey toward living a deliberate, meaningful life.